I see a sickness in society: apathy, avoidance, ignorance, and dominant "I'm better, be like me" mentality tossed in with, "Sure, we're different and we'll fight, but let's have a drink and never communicate through it." I see patterns in all of it, creating easily manipulated pawns in an interconnected ocean of social control and systemic submission, waves of tension, anxiety, insecurity, and shrouded fear pulsating through the masses with a layer of intellectualization and rationalization that screams, "I've got it all figured out," while barely whispering, "But I can't feel anything. And maybe I don't want to." And sometimes only showing up in the rageful determination to make and spend money without consideration for anyone's individual needs and feelings. I think that's why I'm straight edge. I see an unwittingly self-destructive and suicidally naive species numbing themselves with substances instead of bothering to communicate, instead opting for conflict and competition. I'd rather allow my decisions to be the clearest possible consciousness, even if Robert Sapolsky and a number of other neuroscientists are right and we truly have no fundamentally free will. We're essentially a social gestalt consciousness defined by experiences and reacting according to patterns in our life, relationships, and experiences. I've noticed the healthiest, safest, and most potentially emotionally secure pattern is found in sobriety. That's a journal entry that I wrote a few days ago. Posted it yesterday. The truth is, we do live in systems of essentially dominant, punitive, and celebratory social control. We aren't really given an option. The system exists to punish and praise certain aspects of our behaviors in order to create very easily submissive pawns. Sometimes there's an outlier that's labeled a rebel, and that's the funny thing here. We actually get labeled rebels just because you go in a different direction and maybe become famous. And that's the funny thing, is we always see those people become some level of famous. And we'll even look at them and see oh, they have a beautiful life. They're pretty sweet people. They're pretty cool. How are they rebellious? I don't know. We were told they were. Not all the time. Sometimes there is some crazy ass shit going on with famous people because there is an assload of stress that they would not otherwise have to deal with. There is this non-community driven social, it's pretty wild how we treat famous people, how they're treated, how people will crowd them for nothing but a touch or a signature. It's crazy. The truth is, being straight edge to me is also rebellious. It is anti-systemic. Because the system does thrive when you can very easily condition people to sit down, shut up, drink your liquor, have your beer, smoke your weed, do whatever it is that you've got to do to stay quiet. That is exactly what we, as a society, collectively tend towards. We'll sit down and watch a few hours of TV, won't call it an addiction, but then the rest of our life is spent working. Maybe on the weekend, you go to your boat, you work on your boat for, let's say, 5 hours, and go out for 5 hours. The whole day is burnt through. Most people have a drink on the boat. I'm not going to get into the details there. There's some complexity to that. There's depth. And of course, I'm stuttering because there are boats in my life. I'm trying not to judge people. That just is what happens. The thing is, I'm approaching this from an understanding that, this is just life, and this is how people behave. I also acknowledge that people will feel targeted. They'll feel attacked. They'll feel judged and shamed, and I'm telling them they're less than or better than in some capacity, but that's what the system works on, right? The system tries to say that certain people are better than, certain people are less than. You want to strive to be the better than. Own that boat, own that extra car, own that extra house, whatever. That's what you want to do, and that's what we are conditioned to strive for. And anyone that doesn't have that is left wanting. We shame them. We hide ourselves from them. We tell ourselves, oh, we better keep this a secret so nobody tries to take it from us. And it's insane. And I think the craziest part is that we believe, every one of us believes we're immune to it. Every one of us. When I mentioned Robert Sapolsky, his work in neuroscience is pretty interesting. His belief is essentially that we are only a product of input and response. So everything we learn from becomes a part of our conditioning and our reactions and how we approach certain circumstances that are similar to, if not exactly the same as, cognitively and neurobiologically, what we've already experienced. But we have the ability to direct our attention. So what are we going to attend? Like, what are we going to devote our senses to? Well, if we're going to super fixate on this problem, then we're going to work with our previously existing knowledge. If we're going to super fixate on this problem, we're going to use our pre-existing knowledge. They're different circumstances, and I suppose there's a bit of a path there, which means that you have the will to choose what you should attend to. Most likely, those decisions are going to be weighed by what previously worked out for you or what didn't work out for you. Like, if you... Let's put it in an engineer's perspective. Like, if you worked on this... all right. And let's say you're renovating a house or working on a car. So what's going to make you the most money, right? In a capitalist society, this should make sense. I'm sorry. I'm really trying to kind of, like, make this a relatable thing. I've already lost a ton of people. Everyone wants to believe they have free will. Nobody wants to hear that they don't. It's complicated. So if you have a choice between renovating this house or working on this car, but you have to sell them, which one are you going to do? Are you going to do the one that you know a lot about, or the one that makes the most money? Is it going to be based on your self-belief or what is systemically successful? Is it going to be based on passion and fulfillment, or is it going to be motivated by earning? So if you know a lot about cars, but you know that the house is going to sell for more, but they take the same amount of time to work on it, which one are you going to do? Is it going to be one for fulfillment in the moment, or is it going to be for one that gives you the most eventual financial security? Like, oh, I'm planning for my future and all that kind of stuff. Okay, well, there's a lot of people that plan for their future, usually if they're systemically motivated. Like, if they're motivated to have, like, a 401k or a retirement plan and all that kind of stuff. You're like, oh, I got to make money. Because then eventually, when I have, like, 2 years left of my life, I want to be able to retire and pretend to enjoy stuff because my body is in absolute misery because I worked myself to the bone. Sorry, that was a very intentional poke, and I'm sorry. I'm also not sorry. That's a fundamental belief for me. I think it's ridiculous what we do to ourselves just because we believe that the end of our life is going to somehow be fulfilling, when realistically we have no guarantee that it's going to happen at all. Like, we can work and then, like, 2 days before retirement, just fucking keel over and die. So which one are you going to go for? Is it going to be the one that's fulfilling for you? Like, you know a lot about cars. I'm going to work on the car. Disclaimer, I don't know shit about cars. I don't know anything about tools. I don't know anything about, like, engines. I don't know anything about houses. I don't know any of that shit. But I know people that do. And I'm really just trying to get to a point where, like, somebody actually understands what I'm talking about. And I'm just kind of drolling on at this point. I'll have to redo this.